what's the point of your work? What's the purpose?
What's the point of your work? Yeah, no,
I
just heard it with a particular ear. I'm often very reluctant to call it coaching because it kind of gives it a label that then makes people assume all manner of things that happens here. For me, it's about this moment, the level of the nature of the relationship we have in this moment, and perhaps the depth of intimacy that can be created in this moment, to invite you and invite myself to drop down into that really intimate level. And by intimacy, I'm talking about, here in the Totnes area, they'll say things like, into me see, which kind of I get. It's a bit corny, but I kind of get. But it rings true to me, yes? It's about, am I really willing, allowing you to see me in my real, authentic place? Am I inviting you to do likewise? And encouraging you to drop into that place where I can really see who you are and where you are right now. That for me is where, if I'm going to call it anything, that coaching relationship it belongs. And it can feel very loose. It can feel very unstructured sometimes. But unless it drops down into this level for me, I think the essence of what you might want to bring to a coaching situation, or what you might bring right now, just wouldn't emerge, in my view. If I'm going to invite authenticity and intimacy in the other person, I can't sit here with some other kind of hat on, playing some kind of role where I see myself as separate to that relationship. I've got the coach's hat on or the therapist's hat on. It's in essence being Michael, and if I can drop into feeling into my truth, and sometimes it's not appropriate necessarily, in someone's coming to see me and is paid to be coached, for me to necessarily talk about, to be in my very vulnerable place. But actually, if I acknowledge that's where I am at, it informs my relationship with this person in a way that invites kind of authenticity. I think we feel that. Without speaking the words, we feel when people are being authentic. It's actually a very attractive energy. We are drawn towards authenticity. We're drawn towards people being in their truth. Even if their truth is ugly, or angry, disgusting, or shameful, or whatever it might be, it's actually I think it's something that happens. It's at the core of us being human. And so that's what I keep inviting the other person to drop into. We are so over-reliant on the information that we store up here, which is creating, we can tell all manner of lies or truths about ourselves in our head, and tell all kinds of stories about who we are and who other people are. And when I'm not saying bypass the head, because it has, we have a mind, as the intelligence is a really important part of us. However, there is the body's intelligence. And that isn't lying, that's just telling you how it is in this moment. And very often we disconnect from it because actually it's difficult to hear the truth. So right now I might be feeling actually a lot of anxiety in my belly. I might be feeling that sensation in my throat where I feel I want to cry. Can I cry in this company, in this situation? I can't let myself cry. But that's the truth of how I am. Or can I feel that fear in my belly, or the sense of shame that I experience in the kind of prickly skin, or whatever it might be? It's information. How we choose to perceive it, the choices we take or we make based on this information is really what then, where we can bring in our mind, where we can bring our intelligence to this. Choices about is through our intelligence. Yeah, I just would want to work with you or with anybody to to start to pick up information that isn't created, that isn't kind of about our own beliefs or ideas about who we think we are, but actually start really getting into some truth information, which is held in this body of yours, in terms of your feelings, in terms of your posture, in terms of your muscular tensions. That says more to me than all your words will say. Okay. I don't think, again, this is not by design, and nor is it, I think, because I'm imposing my intention. I have to be really careful about this when I'm working with someone. But what we invariably arrive at some level, however deep, is something about self-love. This is what we end up talking about. What people start to reveal, the absence of self-love, or how that's manifested or not, as the case may be, and what gets in the way. What are the obstructions? What are the beliefs about who we are that prevent us from really dropping into that phrase that you referred to earlier, around the essence of who we are, that wholeness, that self-love place. And somehow that's where it keeps coming back to. My invitation right from the very beginning of the course is, what's brought you here? And it's a simple question. And invariably people come because not because they've been told, they've come because they have something that they're aware of in themselves that needs some attention. So just by simply opening up that conversation, and that may take, that could take an hour to start with, but it's fuel, it's fantastic fuel for the rest of the day. Because people drop in, begin to, and particularly if I do have the capacity to hold people in that place. I like to think that I don't have a judgment about what they say, and they sense that I'm really there to receive them and listen to them. So what I've noticed is that people are very readily, very open to speaking about what's going on for them. In fact, they're aching to do so, particularly in the work environment, where there doesn't seem to be permission to be yourself. What matters to me is that there's a human being at the core of all this, and he or she feels something. And you bring those feelings, you bring those experiences and those sensations to the workplace, and they influence what you do. Absolutely influence what you do. And so my work has that quality all the time, has that thread running through it. I really want to invite the person to come through. And yes, of course, then once the person is kind of more clearly revealed to themselves and the choices they're making, then they can see that relationship between who they are and what they do much more clearly, and the choices they make around being in that particular role. It's so important to me, I can't leave it out. In fact, I can't do work that doesn't have that quality built into it. And that's a lie to some extent, because I do some work that is just simply earning some money. But increasingly, that's not where I want to keep finding my way to doing the work that actually just acknowledges the person, the individual, in the context of whatever it is they happen to be doing.